Hi YouTube friends. This is a video about my recent trip to see my family in West Virginia. And I thought I'd just share a little of the landscape. This is not West Virginia, this is North Carolina where I live. This is an attempt to show you, no it doesn't tilt, there we go, let's get it level, how flat it is, but beautiful. Huge sky, lots and lots of farmland, old junky buildings like that one that just flew by. But I really love this landscape, which surprises me. Maybe that's why I share it sometimes, is that I'm surprised that I like something that's this flat. And I love the thick pine forest. They grow those as a crop. And look, there's some old farm buildings. There's a beautiful old house there. I try to get a couple of these houses along the way. There's a beautiful new house. I'm in Warren County, North Carolina, on my way to West Virginia, and this is Warrenton, the county seat. And I've stopped here very briefly just to show you the town because it's really a very pretty little town. Hey YouTube friends. So there is the county courthouse behind me with some little adjacent buildings. It's such a pretty day. You can hear people doing work. So there's lovely old buildings like that one, and then there's a downtown strip of buildings, and it's nice and thriving. Adam and I came through here at once and stopped for lunch, and there's a little eatery across the way, a diner. There's a pharmacy. There's an art gallery on the end. There's a little shop up the street that has yarn, and I'm going to go visit them. I got some yarn last time. It was that green stuff that I made a shawl with, or a scarf. There's an ice cream store up there if they're open. There's also a really pretty building that's used as a funeral home. I'm going to take a picture of that. Oh, they're noisy, so I think I'll jump off of here. I'll get back to you. So many little towns in North Carolina, eastern North Carolina, are dead or dying. At least they look that way. Quaint, but not much business. And this is an older building. Looks like there's still some business in there. But most of the buildings in town really look good. But I love this house. Isn't that gorgeous? It's a little noisy in this town. That's a funeral home now, but you can tell it was a beautiful stone house at one point. There's another lovely home there, and more up the street. And there's a beautiful stone church down there. But I'm going to go back up toward my yarn shop, and I'll go take you there. Well, my favorite little shop is closed today. Maybe they'll be open when I come back. I can see the yarn in there and some cute aprons and such. So maybe on my return trip I'll stop. Here's some of the other downtown old buildings. Insurance agency, coffee shop. Maybe that was the place that had the ice cream. There's a building that needs a resident. There's a lovely bank building there on the corner. Let's see what else is down here. See what I mean by noisy? Well, oh, that's a beautiful old door. That's a Christian bookstore. All that noise just means that there's stuff going on. Sewing and embroidery. There's also a shop here that finishes your quilts for you. This must be a haven for handmade stuff. CBD oils, gummies and lotions. Chicken sandwiches, wings and fries. Flower shop. Often it's the county seat that survives after other towns tend to deteriorate. That looks like a florist, yes. Anyway, I'm going to walk back to the car. Time to get on the road. But I thought you would enjoy seeing just one little town. I'm going to try to show you the beautiful work up on the top of some of these buildings. Isn't that lovely? There's the courthouse again. I thought it's fascinating over here on this corner. There's a business that used to be heating and cooling, but now it's a brewery. The name of this town is Charlotte Courthouse. It has beautiful old red brick buildings. I just love it. As we leave the little towns of Virginia, we head into bigger hills, and this is all very safe filming. I'm not looking at the camera at all, just to let you know. But I love this drive up to the arch at the Blue Ridge Parkway with this beautiful stone bridge. It's so lovely. And after this point, you head back downhill to Buena Vista, Virginia, and you're really almost to West Virginia at this point, which is really exciting to me. The footage, this is really actually still Virginia, but you really begin to see the big mountains. The sky is so beautiful. It's still very big sky. And all of the hills are still brown from winter. Nothing's green yet up there. There's no daffodils blooming. Not yet. So then I get to my mother's house. It's Tuesday evening at my mother's house in West Virginia. And although we have daffodils blooming at home, here it is still definitely late winter. And the fog and the mist is rising over there off of the Greenbrier River, which is on the other side of that brown hill, in between us and the distant hill. She has such a view from her front yard. I love the old trees along this little road. It's a little one-lane road. She has a cat named Bobby. There's Bobby. Bobby has decided to be friendly. Maybe Bobby can tell I have a cat now, and Bobby's like, okay, you're safe. So Bobby has come to rub around my legs. She has a gorgeous old cedar tree in her front yard that's been through many battles. Here's my mother's house. It has the feel of a cottage inside. It really does, but it's an old farmhouse. Let's go see the backyard. This is one of my favorite things at her house, is an old pump. Isn't that lovely? Bobby has the funniest meow. Oh my goodness. She has a massive forsythia bush that I've never noticed before. And it's not blooming at all yet. There's not a single bloom on there. I love this old cattle gate. It looks like she's lost some serious limbs out of these scraggly looking trees this winter. And the post on this gate. Bobby, it's like Bobby doesn't want me to go this way. She keeps on blocking my way by tangling up my legs. This valley has been shrouded in mist since I've walked across the yard. Kind of spooky looking. Boy, there's a big old trunk. Look at that. Totally hollow. That's huge. That was a very big tree. I'm in the backyard, and from here you really can see how her house is on a very elevated position. Makes me wonder, if I was on the other side on that distant hill over there, would I be able to see her house over here as a little speck on a bald knoll? It's very possible. So quiet out here. Just birds. The birds can tell that spring is almost here. My mother does have a cat. This is Bobby, and she has a cat named Nora as well, but they stay outside. Meanwhile, inside, my mother has lovely gas logs that she burns in the winter, and it's just so cozy. That's a beautiful set that my dad bought when they first moved in the house. So I want to give you maybe a little tour around her living room. This is kind of the guest chair. So this is where I sit, and you see my knitting bag there. Here's her writing desk, which she doesn't use as much as she used to. And she has her TV in that cabinet over there. Beautiful rocking chair. I love this trunk. It's a cedar trunk that she uses as her coffee table. And I noticed, look what she's got a copy of. Isn't that great? Lovely antique sofa that she had redone years and years ago. And there's an upstairs and a bedroom over there. Lovely old furniture. This is just the look my mother really does adore. And this is just her kitchen table. This is the only table she has now. It's a nice open plan into the kitchen. We were having breakfast, and she was cooking breakfast at that point. And then this is her corner with her very comfortable chair. She has a footstool and everything she needs right there, a window behind her. And there's her desk where she keeps everything she needs. And she can look out the window at the birds and watch them eating at the feeder. I'm here at my mother's home, and one of my brothers is very creative and very artistic, and always has been. He's a painter and a woodworker, but he's also a potter. Years ago, he did lots of fun pottery, and this is a piece that he did. I think he did this in high school, maybe college. Very meticulous. My favorite part is the water. Look at that. Isn't that fun? It's a beautiful castle. So my mother has this in the guest room at her house. She has a very cottagey feeling house, very warm and cozy. So here's my brother's castle. Pretty cool. Lily! Hi! Oh, ouch, that hurt. Did you jump on me? Lily! Where are you going? Oh, don't jump. Don't jump. Whatever you do, don't jump. Hello, Lily. Oh, don't bite. No bites. No bites. Well, that's enough of the miter square blanket, I think. I am making progress on it. It was fun to work on it there by the fire. I think I've got about 2 rows of mitered squares to go before I get finished, but that is still a good bit left to do. It was very cozy by the fire. And here are just some shots. This is the view from my mother's front yard. And there are some wires hanging there, but it is absolutely stunning. It's one of the most beautiful places. That's a farmhouse across the field. No one lives there now. And I love the rocks on that hillside. They shimmer in the sunlight. It's a very beautiful house. I do wish somebody could buy it. This is my mother's house, looking from down the hill. Lily loves to go on the porch and chase the cats and run around the yard. She's so fun. Here she is, getting a tummy rub on the floor. And here is a little trek down the street to the cemetery. Just a stone's throw from my mother's house, down this curvy road, is the cemetery where my daddy is buried. So I'm going down there this morning to visit his grave. This is an old rural family cemetery, but it is well kept, and these are the steps that go up from the road. There's some stones in that direction, and then there's some in this direction. This is where my daddy's buried. Unlike the older stones that are raised headstones above ground, my parents have all gone for a flat headstone. My mom will be buried here too after she dies. It's a beautiful, beautiful spot. This was her choice. Daddy agreed. Now we'll leave the cemetery and go back to my mother's house. And I want to show you just some photographs I took. This is of my family, and although you can't see me, I actually am there because my mother was pregnant with me at the time. Those are my brothers. This was many years ago. Now, this is my brother who is an artist, and he painted this when he was 6 years old. They did get him some art classes because he was obviously gifted, and this he painted in elementary school. I think these are both acrylics. He painted this with some instruction, but no help from his teacher. This, I think, was probably in college. He was an art major. He wouldn't like this, I'm sure, but my mother loves this picture of a cabin. This is one of her very favorite paintings he did. It's a watercolor, and she has it right there next to her chair in the living room. But one of my brother's best skills is just as a sketch artist. He does beautiful pencil work. This is just one example. Now, the next painting was actually done by his art teacher in high school, Coach Acton, and this is the church at Gluckstadt, Mississippi. My mother loves that painting. I did get back to my little shop and I bought some yarn, and I will share with you what I bought there next time I do a yarn video. That's coming up. Here's an old house that I had to stop and video on the side of the road. Beautiful, but obviously not lived in, with vines growing all over the front of it. Very, very interesting. Okay, let's move on. I got back from West Virginia yesterday afternoon, kind of late. Oh, hi, Leo. Are meowing at me. He wants to get up on his favorite spot, but as you see, I've got all kinds of stuff in front of it. I told my husband I really wanted to find this box. This box was up in the attic, and I'm sitting in my studio, but if I turn the camera up to the ceiling, 10 feet up there, you see where he had to get up. We screwed that shut because the hot air was coming down in the summer. And so we had to get the tall ladder and take the screws out, take the ladder out, open up that, and it's rather nervous to climb that. Anyway, but he did retrieve this box. This box says, "I miss you." and you see how old it is. And it says, Cutie Robinson. That was me many years ago. Oh, and it says, this is 440. I think that was my room number or something. This is from college. A very dear friend gave me this box, and inside of it was a popcorn popper that she was giving me to have during college. But I've used this box to keep diaries and journals in. This is my first, I haven't pulled these out. Oh, I labeled them. Oh, good. Years ago. 5-year diary. Y'all remember those? You only have a teeny little bit each day. David Huff isn't cute either. I used to like him, but not now. That's great. Okay. Second half of 3rd grade to the first half of 8th grade. Wow. Okay, I'm not going to open all these. There's no telling what's in there. 8th and 9th grade. I liked that one. So glad I labeled 9th and 10th. I was an avid diary keeper. I have no idea what that is. 10th and 11th. I kept a diary every day for a very long time. Now this, I think this is what I kept when I went to Mexico one time. I'm going to have to, 1979, that's very possible. Only got one hand here. Now there's one that was really, really big and it wouldn't fit in this box. I don't know where it is, and I think that was my 11th and 12th grade year. That's probably mostly empty then. All right, Woodland Hills. What is this? Diary of 1981. That's the year I graduated from. January 1st. I used to call my diary, I named her Kathy, so I would address her to Kathy with an I. Isn't that hilarious? Oh my goodness. Anyway. I fancied myself a writer. What I'm looking for, though, are the journals that I kept when I traveled. Later, this is undoubtedly one my mother gave me because that looks so much like something she would like. I traveled, this is during college, 1982, 83. I traveled to Europe after college. And then I went to Poland twice in my 20s, and I'm hoping that I have. Well, I also went to Mexico many, many times as a teen and in my early 20s. Okay, that's the bottom of the box. Yes, okay, this is to the fall of 1985. This would be when I went to Europe. Okay, we won't look too hard in there. However, that's quite promising. That might be Mexico. I'm not really sure. I wonder if I kept a journal when I went to Poland. That's what I really want to know. 1988 to 1992. I went in, oh boy, it's hard to say. Yes, this might include my second trip. Oh yes, people's names. Okay. Okay, that's going to include my second trip. I went to Zakopane. What is this? Do I have one that goes to 1987? This might be it, because this... That was in 1985 to whenever. Yeah, so this would probably include the first trip. I need to find out what the name of the town was that where we went on that first mission trip to Poland, because I've forgotten the name of it. And with all the things happening in Ukraine right now, I'm very, very interested in remembering the translators we had there and the events of those trips. So this is a photo album that has some photos of those trips to Poland, because my second translator that I had on the second trip was Ukrainian. Oh, this is this is when I went to Europe after college. That's a Mexico trip. That was in high school. And this is a trip to Poland. Esperanto. But of course, you take pictures of all the things you don't really care about. Oh, that was one of our translators, but it's a terrible picture of him. That was a friend of mine, and that was I was partnered with this girl. This is a picnic we took. This was the first year, though. That's good to know. This was my translator. Her name was Eva. I was absolutely awful at oh, there we are. I mean, we got along like a house fire, as they say, but there's the sweater. This is a sweater that I bought over there. It was freezing cold. I also had a perm. So that was me in 1987, and this sweater had been made there, and it really smelled like sheep. It had not been cleaned all the way, but it kept me warm, and so I looked a lot like a Polish girl. Eva and I kept in touch. Oh yeah, this guy was so nice. He always reminded me of the man on Hogan's Heroes, Mr. Crane, his first name. There's Eva, there's me, making silly faces. Anyway, they were great young people, these translators. They spoke wonderful English. They were university students. Eva later moved to the United States and got married. And she sent me wedding pictures, but we have lost track over the years. And I love to take pictures of beautiful architecture because my dad was an architect. And that's it for those pictures. Okay.